Has the pandemic actually increased wedding photography and wedding videos value? Find out in this video. Welcome to this parking lot. I'm parked sideways because there was a crazy lens flare that I was trying to avoid, and now I'm just parked sideways in an empty parking lot. If somebody walks by, I'm going to be really embarrassed. One, because I'm sideways across a bunch of spots, and two, because I'm talking to myself on a camera and they're going to see that. We're going to make weird eye contact. I'm gonna have to stop recording for a bit if that is that's my worry, my anxiety about this video. Today I want to talk to you about something that I posted in the members group last night. If you're not a member yet, you can sign up below. And essentially what I did was I took stock of everything. This has definitely been the most unique season that I've ever been a wedding photographer. So I went through all the numbers and I figured out what my weddings, or what at least the rest of this year kind of looks like, as well as speculation on what next year is going to look like and how things are going to change. And then I also posted under that in February, I went through my 2019 sales stats, and I actually went through numbers, couples that booked specific packages, how many hours, who went for photo video packages, and all the average costs and everything. So if you're interested in seeing basically an entire full money / package and products booked, I guess, breakdown, that's over on the member site right now too. So you can head over there if you're a member and it's up there already. One of the things that I noticed with this year is what happened was a number of weddings, my entire season essentially has moved. I still do have some weddings in September that are still hopefully going through, or they're going through in a modified approach. What I have seen a huge increase in is elopements. So right now, what an elopement is, small, maybe 5-person, 10-person wedding, well under the restrictions. The restrictions here I think are 50 for indoor weddings still, or 100 for an outdoor wedding. But the sketchy thing is that those restrictions can change in either direction at any moment. So my couples are it's such a large amount of anxiety that goes into, like, hey, we're going to do our 50-person wedding 3 weeks from now, and you have no idea if they're going to, if cases increase, that means that maybe functions like that get cut down to 20 people, and now you have to replan your wedding again on like 2 weeks notice. So a lot of my couples are aiming for the 5 to 10 person range, and just kind of being like, we're pretty certain that we'll be able to go through with this, and then we'll have a big party next year for all of our family and friends. So that's one thing that I've been seeing, and I've been seeing it, I would say the past maybe 3 weeks, things have really started to increase. That there was obviously a lull where absolutely no inquiries were coming in. But I would say by the time maybe April came around, I was starting to get a few inquiries. Then by the time May came around, I was actually getting a significant number of inquiries again, and I had one of the busiest weeks of my entire business within there. So people are still booking wedding photography coverage, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today, and how I've seen that change, and some of the trends that I've noticed that are completely kind of out of the ordinary. So number one, I'm going to say that as far as kind of the thesis, or at least the hypothesis, I guess, if people at least here are valuing wedding photography a little bit more, I feel like where I live, I'm an hour west of Toronto. I'm in a place called Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. And I feel like I live at this weird cross section, which is potentially why I'm somewhat hopefully helpful to a lot of people kind of out there that are wedding photographers. But I have lived close to a major city. I've worked in that major city a lot of times, but then I also have a 5-minute drive from here. It is completely kind of flat, rural, just farm culture. So I have really kind of a good cross-section of everything from big city to farm wedding abilities and bookings. So I really do get to see a lot. And then myself personally, I live in a city, I guess it's kind of like a Tri-Cities. There's about, I would say, 500,000 people kind of within all of this space. So hopefully maybe that gives you some perspective to where I'm at, but I feel like it is generally helpful advice, kind of regardless of where you are. Obviously, if you're in a different spot in the world, or if things are drastically different as far as recovery goes right now in your country, then things might be a little bit different. But I would say overall, this is a really good city for just being at least relatable to even a place like New York City, or a place like LA or Orange County, but then also rural like Middle America, and then also places like the United Kingdom. I know that there's a lot of folks from the UK that watch these videos, and the feedback that I've gotten, a lot of pretty much what I'm saying seems to be applicable, or at least applicable in some way, regardless of where you live in the world. So that's really cool. It's It's getting pretty dark here. Variable clouds have been my nemesis this past I guess 3 months now of recording videos. So the trends that I've been seeing, definitely 100% elopements up a lot, and elopements specifically on days that are not wedding days. So a lot of people aren't doing Friday, Saturday weddings anymore. I have a lot of Tuesday weddings. I have a surprising number of Thursday weddings, and then I have 2 weddings. I'm doing my first 2 wedding day ever on the 20th of August, so stay tuned for a video on that I have a brunch wedding in the morning and then a wedding in the evening, which is not something that I would ever traditionally do, but they're at the exact same hotel / restaurant, so I thought that it'd be a fun opportunity to do that. So to speak to the value of photography in these wedding days now, that everyone for the most part had a pretty big budget usually for their wedding, that they had a dollar amount in mind that they were comfortable spending on their wedding day. And now that maybe 100 less guests can come, there is more money for them to make the day exactly what they want. So for instance, in a week from now, we're going on a helicopter elopement. There's one of those on my YouTube channel right now, but there's another one in the works, and Lindsay's doing a helicopter elopement, and then we have another one in September. So all of a sudden there's a big influx in just people doing kind of cool stuff that more suits them and maybe less suits kind of the pressures from their family. So that's another thing that I've been noticing with in regards to just like people are actually having the weddings that they want to have, and it's so much easier for them to be able to convince their family that that's what they want to do. So that's really, really cool. Obviously with the smaller weddings, that means that realistically a lot of my couples are probably saving $40,000 plus on their weddings, so they're quite happy to pay a little bit more for photography because they are overall saving so much money. I would say that it has been a very long time since anyone has ever questioned anything on price. Like over the past 3 months, I don't think a single time anyone's asked for any sort of discount or kind of hinted at it, or even responded back and said, hey, we love your work, but you're out of our price range. So that is maybe one positive thing that I'm seeing, and something that leads me to believe that people are valuing photography a lot more. Maybe the even larger thing that I'm seeing outside of this, and I'm sure you've noticed it as well, but video for weddings and live streaming weddings specifically is a thing that didn't really exist as a business last year. That there was like, you might, maybe if you're a video team, you might set up like a Skype feed or like a Google Hangout or something on a laptop, but this year there is a lot being put into live streaming events, as well as actually capturing full ceremony. I would say that in the past, actually, if you're a member, you can see the stats on how many people actually booked the full wedding day, which actually includes a full kind of ceremony and also speeches. But I would say most couples now are getting a highlight film, and they also want that extra as well. So whether that is live streamed or whether that is recorded and posted online at another time, a lot of couples really do want that. And if you're interested in making video highlight films, as well as just all the technical that would go into doing something like that, there is a course over on my courses page that you have access to if you're a member. So it's 3 modules, and there's basically goes through everything that you could ever need to know, coming from being a photographer to somebody that is just really adept at doing video, as well as all the editing. And the big part is audio that we don't really think about as photographers, and there is as much to learn technically about the video side of things as there is audio, and as well as like backups. Kind of same goes that if you're a wedding photographer, you have backup cameras. If you're a wedding video person, you have backup cameras, as well as like different angles so that you're kind of backed up there. And then when it comes to audio, you have backup audio. So if somebody has a microphone, you're getting that line out of that feed, as well as a lav backup, as well as kind of a room mic, or a lot of my ceremonies are now outside. So just kind of like a shotgun mic pointed kind of at the direction again as another backup. So if you've been on the fence about starting video and really making video part of your wedding photography business, I would say that this is the year to do it. And the easiest way to begin doing video is literally just to go out and start doing it at whatever event is happening next, or if you just want to go out in your city, or maybe a better idea is to actually approach a business that is potentially struggling because of the situation. And if you're able to come in and you can create a small promotional video for them, one, they're going to love you. Two, you're going to have portfolio, and you're going to, one, it's going to give you the skills that you need to do weddings, and then two, outside of that, you're going to now have this smaller portfolio of just kind of promotional videos for businesses that you can shop around, and you can fill in gaps and continue to generate some money. What we noticed was that over the past couple of months that we weren't doing any weddings at all. Like really, until I have one on Friday, so 2 days from now is my first wedding since November or October. So it's almost like a full almost year off, or not quite, but. And because of that, in order to book work, we had to find different ways to do it. So I posted on the members group about working with restaurants and building a portfolio and coming up with a subscription-based program so it would give you recurring revenue, and you just kind of go out into the world and work with your clients week to week. And you can build that into a secondary business where you can actually run it under a name that's not your own. It's a lot easier to do that so that you're able to potentially even sell that business. Or if you want to go full model of it, this is all in the members group if you want it, that you're able to kind of partner or even just do it yourself, or with your husband, wife, or significant other, whoever it might be, to actually build this into a social media management system where, for instance, there are a lot of restaurants here that got into being a restaurant because they like food, they like to cook the food, and they do not want to do Instagram. So if you can come up with hey, this is the monthly, I come in, I'll shoot all the content on 1 or 2 days, or I'll come in for like one event per month or whatever it might be, get all the photo video content, and then also schedule out all the actual like implementing all those posts as well and writing them and keeping up their social presence. And that is definitely something that's possible. And I know of multiple people that are doing, I would say, for different businesses like that, anywhere between $1,000 and like $3,000 a month. So there is money to be had there, and every single business now sees that they have to be online, that is now such a big part of their business. It got really bright here. Video, I think, is going to be the most important thing, that if you're on the fence, definitely spend some time and get into doing video and learning video. As a photographer, like, there's definitely going to be opportunities, but as a photographer and also hybrid video creator, there are going to be so many more opportunities in this new environment, this new landscape, where weddings are a lot smaller, which means that they want those assets to be able to send out to their friends and family that weren't able to go. And also because of the fact that they're saving so much money on not buying $150 dinners for all of those people, now they actually have budget to put into your video creative services. So as an upsell, it's amazing. Get people in the door with your photography. That's like the staple, I would say, of weddings. At all weddings, I would say video is always kind of like we might if we have the budget for it, but photography is just like, if you're having a wedding, you're hiring a photographer, and if you can make that very easy to bridge into video, that's where the money is going to be over the next couple of years. So yes, I 100% do believe that wedding photography and wedding video are becoming more valuable than they were last year. And if you're able to do both, you're really going to create a business that is just far beyond your expectations, and as well as fully customizable to whatever you want that business to be. So once you're able to do proper, I'll call it hybrid coverage, but if you're working in a commercial environment, for instance, you're going into a restaurant, you're not really shooting like we're going to call it hybrid coverage. You go into a restaurant, they build some food, you take the photos of behind the scenes of them cooking the food, the final plates, and then you also run video on the same things and build them little highlight films from that. And they're completely different ways to tell stories and completely different ways for them to market themselves. So whether you're doing that at a wedding, or you're porting those skills over to a local business, or which is going to be part of the third pillar of kind of the members group, basically how to pivot those skills into travel content as well. So if you want to get paid to travel the world, or what's even easier is if you want to do break-even trips, which means you don't want to pay for anything, but you want to go and stay at a nice hotel and do some cool experiences, there are going to be so many opportunities coming up while the travel industry attempts to recover from this. And if you're able to do photo and video as one person, and you can go in and you can be easy to work with, and you can be smart, and you can have everything together, and you can be like, hey, here's a one page, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do these things, and then you're going to have them and you can use them however you want, and here's the deal in exchange for that. If you're able to do that, people are going to be very excited to invite you into their property, or to send you on their airplanes, or to send you to their experiences, or whatever they might do. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming up there. So I do believe that people more than ever before are truly valuing wedding photography and wedding video on a level that they did not, and now they also have the budget for it, which is awesome. And you can port the skills that you're going to learn how to do both of those. Promise me now. You're going to learn how to do both of those, and then you can port them to businesses. Editor Taylor here. So the sound that you heard was my Fuji X-T4 preamp just completely dying. So you've been hearing me probably talk a little bit about how that was the only downside of the Fuji X-T4. apparently maybe I got a bad copy because it's done, unfortunately. As I was saying, that you can take the skills that you learn in the wedding space to go to the business space and create great videos for different local businesses, or create documentary projects to get sponsorships from different local interest groups or whatever it might be. Or in Canada, we have a thing called the Canadian Media Fund, and you can apply for grants to go out and create your content. So there's lots of opportunities to make money with video skills as well as your photography skills. And if you're a great photographer, which you probably are, you pretty much learned at least the lighting and the compositional elements of it, and video is a very easy bridge to kind of to step into. Obviously a bit of a learning curve because it's very different. However, you have learned all the basics and you hopefully have all the equipment already. And then using those skills to do business projects locally, you can also use the same skills to create a portfolio and to create something really amazing out there in the world as far as travel goes. And it really is that golden time, and the best time, I would say, probably that we will see in our lifetimes, that if you want to get in on travel and creating content and working with companies to get sent around the world, it really is kind of that, I would say, that golden time, and the time that might never actually come back after this. So if you are interested in that, a lot of companies are really going to be scrambling this year to create a lot of content. If you can make that super easy for them, get that one sheet. I talk about this in the group as well, but just have that one-page document that you can just give to them and be like, hey, here's the deal, here's what's going to happen, and the way that everything's going to break down. And if you can make it seem safe for them, that they can pitch to their boss, that they're not going to fail, that you're not going to fail them, and they're not going to fail their boss. If you can relax their stress and their anxiety, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to book a lot of work in that realm if you so desire, or you can just work locally, or you can just continue with weddings. There's lots of options. It's kind of cool. Design the life of your dreams, I guess, overall, and whatever you want to be doing. I think it's important to focus on and to create a business that aligns with, I guess, your life overall goals of what a happy life is for you. So thanks for watching today, and I'm sorry that my preamp died, but hopefully, I don't know, it's not going to be back. It doesn't work at all anymore. So I guess send that back to Fuji. See you another time from a new camera, I guess.